Is it over? Can I come out now? Yeah, it's still life under quarantine. So as everybody probably knows, the governor's stay-at-home order is due to expire this coming Friday on the 8th. Now, they have a 3-phase plan. According to the plan, nothing huge is supposed to change, just a slow general easing of things, a pause to evaluate, and then steps from there. I have to admit, I'm pretty anxious about it. As I've mentioned before, my baseline is kind of cynical. And so my immediate fear is that people are just going to go crazy. And everybody's going to be out doing all sorts of things, and more people are going to get sick. That's my fear. It's my fear. It's not necessarily reality. Now, everybody has their own methods of dealing with anxiety and stress. My ways, the healthy ones anyway, pretty much center around this one idea. Reality is what it is. Whatever actually is right now doesn't change just because I want it to be different. And pretending like it's different, behaving as if things were the way I want them to be rather than how they are, just sets me up for disappointment and misery. I know this because I have lived this. Acknowledging reality when it's unpleasant or embarrassing or aggravating or frustrating is painful. It kind of hurts, but it doesn't hurt any worse than the disappointment of behaving as if things were different and then suddenly finding out that they're not. So for me, once I stopped pretending and start admitting to myself what the reality of the situation is, whatever the situation happens to be, at that point, then I can do something about it. Then I can take action. If I try to take action based on what amounts to faulty information, then the result I'm looking for isn't going to happen. I'm not going to get there. It's no different than deciding you want to drive to Charlotte, deciding that Charlotte is east of here, and heading east, and then being surprised when you don't find Charlotte. Charlotte's going to be where it is, and I have to go a specific direction to get there from here. I'll give you a good example. So last year, I had to finally admit that I was way too heavy, not healthy. I was carrying too much weight, bad on my knees, my joints were hurting. I wasn't healthy. That was painful to admit. I'd been pretending. It's like, it's not that much. I can pull it off. I can carry it off. Unintended. None of that was true. So I admitted it. I started going to the gym, started eating differently, dropped 30 pounds. Shouldn't say dropped. Didn't happen overnight. It was painful. It took a while. But I did it. That's not the end of the story. So, with one thing and another, a lot of it's self-caused, I basically stopped going to the gym. And, I gained a little bit of weight back. Maybe more than a little. And then all sorts of changes happened. All sorts of life stressors. I changed jobs, then quarantine, a lot of other things, all at the same time. And man, I was stress eating. So I wasn't working out. I was eating in a way that felt like it was helping me mentally, definitely was not helping me physically. So the other day, I had to finally admit that I put back on all that weight that I worked off last year. I didn't want to admit that either. There's all sorts of stories in my head about what that means. Doesn't mean anything. It means I put the weight back on. It means I put weight on. That's what it means. It means if I want that weight off, I know what to do about it. So I'm doing that. I don't want to do that. It's not fun. I don't like exercising. I like eating what I want to eat. But you know what? That's not going to get me where I want to be. So I'm going to do that. This is the only way, the only possible way for me to get where I want to be. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's how we're all going to get through this. We don't know what it's going to be like as quarantine eases, as quarantine eventually ends. We have some good ideas. There are people who know what they're talking about, who can give us information about what it will probably look like if we do this or if we do that. We should listen to them. They spent lots of years getting good at what they do. We should listen to them. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see what happens. Remember, we can always decide what we're going to do. Sometimes our options may be limited, but we'll find a way. We will get through this. Stay well, stay safe, wash your hands, stay separate. It still helps. I'll talk to you soon.